Welcome back, everybody. Today we will be discussing the Jordan 1 UNC Toe once again. Specifically, we'll be discussing some release info, how to cop, and of course, some resale predictions at the end of the video. The Jordan 1 UNC Toe releases on July 22nd, but they already had a shock drop on Nike sneakers, which consisted of about 108k men's pairs on the shock drop alone, which are now already in circulation. But there's actually a total of 250,000 men's pairs already loaded on Nike sneakers US, meaning over 100,000 pairs still have yet to drop there. Make sure to follow my Twitter, keep that M10, this way you get these urgent notifications, and for early information, before any of the shock drops actually occur, and much more, Endurance always has your back. Endurance goes far beyond just sneaker reselling information, so if you're looking to broaden your horizons as a reseller, I'd really encourage it. Not just that, but there's also many ways to save money too, such as our recent gas bot that we created. I'd highly recommend checking it out with the link in the description. But anyway, retail is $180 for men's sizes, $140 for grade school, $85 for preschool, and $70 for toddler, and $50 for infants. As for resale, we'll go over that at the end of the video as always. Specifically, for this how to cop, we'll be going in chronological order, along with exactly how to efficiently manage your time and set up for this drop, since a lot is going to be going on at once. Prior to discussing the first come first serve online drops, make sure you don't forget to sign up for the Flex app reservations. This is one of the best ways to get pairs, as well as asking your local foot stores about their procedure for leftover pairs. Finish Line and JD should also be doing status access Wednesday the 19th for in-store, most likely at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and Thursday the 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for online, most likely. Now, moving on to the online first come first serve sites, we'll start with the US sites. Drops now begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Time ever since Nike decided no stores were to release prior to Nike on release day. Since there is a lot to focus on, I'll guide you and suggest to you how to efficiently manage your time as usual. First, I suggest going for Hibbett as your first come first serve choice at precisely 10 a.m. Eastern Time, since Hibbett will be one of the sites to sell out quickly. This is what I've been suggesting recently, and it's been going well, so we're not going to change this. You might get the press and hold capsule loop, so just some tips to try to prevent this. Just like we discussed in the prior how to cop guide, go to the coming soon page on the Hibbett calendar right before 10 a.m., click the Jordan 1, then scroll down slowly until you see the sizes. If you scroll too quickly, you'll likely keep getting caught in that capsule loop. My biggest advice in general here, though, is to use Apple Pay on your mobile device for the most efficient checkout. Now, as an alternative to Hibbett, also some first come first serves, you could choose one or two Shopify sites to focus on at precisely 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Sometimes I'd recommend Shop Nice, Kicks, or Shoe Palace, but this time I would not, considering their high shipping rates and the current resale of the Jordan 1 UNC, so I'd stay away from those. Instead, I would try DTLR if you don't want to go for Hibbett. Regardless, all of these Shopify sites will be harder than Hibbett on top of charging shipping. In conclusion, your 10 a.m. first come first serve should be on Hibbett, but these are your other alternatives if you desire. Now, right after those first come first serve drops are over, or even while you're waiting in a Shopify queue, I want you guys to enter in as many sneakers accounts into the drop as possible. This is going to be your number one chance by far for copying these. Now, what's the most efficient way to cop off of Nike sneakers manually? These are currently loaded as a Leo release, also known as Let Everyone Order, which essentially is just a 2-minute draw that looks like a first come first serve. My biggest advice is to use as many unique devices as possible. I actually made an in-depth video regarding why this is if you want some more information, but after sneakers, you normally want to shift your focus to periodically checking Finish Line, JD Sports, and Snipes to see if you have passed Q. Regarding Snipes, if you passed Q here, it is definitely possible to cop manually, but of course, passing the Q is the difficult part. With Gargantua AIO, you can generate bypass links, so it's always a cookout for users, but it's still possible to pass naturally too, just a very low probability, so it's still worth a try. Foot sites are not worth your time at all. They will be impossible manually. Open just one tab for Finish Line and JD each, by the way. Too many will get you IP banned. And again, just a reminder, be on the lookout for their exclusive access. Now, if you have access to a Nordstrom monitor, if you're in Endurance, for example, keep an eye on the Nordstrom monitor around this time because Nordstrom should be dropping, but they usually drop about 2 minutes late. Anyway, moving on to the Europe sites, although many Europe retailers are doing raffles, there still are some first come first serve drops. The best drop, of course, is going to be Nike sneakers at 9 a.m. CEST. Just like US, these are also loaded as a Leo release, and it is extremely likely that Soulbox and Snipes will both be dropping at 9 a.m. CEST as usual. If you have access to a monitor, you definitely have a decent chance of copying here. I would also suggest making accounts beforehand, obviously. Zalando might also potentially drop. They've not loaded yet, though. Then Offspring might potentially drop too. For Offspring, I suggest enabling post notifications for their Instagram. If you don't have access to a monitor, they're relatively quick at sending it out when it does go live. Foot Locker should also be dropping, but there isn't really a manual chance here anyway. So this is going to be it for the how to cop portion of the guide. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to some resale predictions. First of all, stock on these is very high for a Jordan 1 or any Jordan in general. However, demand on them also is very high since this is a UNC colorway. However, following 108K pairs going into circulation from the shock drop, prices have already tanked to about $210. This only leaves room for lunch money with a poor margin if you have no tax or if you can sell locally to avoid platform fees. Now, as we went over in the shock drop seller hold video, this trough would be expected right before the main drop. Now, following the drop, there is a chance we see a small increase in value from the impulsivity effect, especially if they're being oversold right now. Regardless, even with this, I'd still only expect around lunch money with a poor to subpar margin because of the high stock. Nothing crazy. We'll go more in detail with this the day before the drop with the seller hold video as usual. So subscribe and enable post notifications so you stay updated for that. And remember to check out Endurance with the link in the description if you're looking to broaden your horizons as a reseller and entrepreneur. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.